Hello, dear friends. In today's episode, Alex's love story takes a new turn. Despite facing opposition, Alex remains determined to hold on to the happiness he's chosen. But will this love be enough to bring peace and joy to his small family, along with Tuna and Henry? Ming, the mother who once strongly opposed, has now somewhat agreed. But is her agreement truly solid, or is it just a temporary retreat in the face of her son's intense emotions? Will there be words or actions that make her change her mind and oppose Alex once again? And the biggest surprise of all, a character who has been quietly lurking in the shadows is about to emerge, bringing with them a plot that threatens this fragile happiness. What challenges will Alex, Tuna, and Henry have to face? Stay tuned to experience the full range of emotions, suspense, and surprises in today's episode. In the afternoon at the farm, the sunset stretched across the golden fields. Alex had just finished lighting the small candles around the garden when Tuna appeared holding Henry in her arms. The simple yet warm scene made the whole space feel as though time had stopped. Henry's cheerful laughter echoed, blending with the scent of the deep red roses that Alex had prepared. "Baby, everything is so beautiful." Tuna whispered, her eyes filled with tears. Alex walked over and placed his hand on her shoulder, his voice firm yet gentle. "This isn't just a party, it's our wedding. I want you and Henry to know that. From today, I will be the shoulder you both lean on." Henry looked at his stepfather with innocent eyes, smiling happily. Tuna softly cried, holding Alex tightly, feeling the unshakable love between them. In the distance, at the end of the garden, there was an empty row of chairs. A figure quietly sat down, their hand clenched tightly on their knee, their eyes deep in thought. It was Min, Alex's mother. She had been watching since the beginning, her eyes initially filled with anger and disappointment. She had once opposed Tuna, believing that this woman would only bring burdens to her son. But now, in the soft glow of the candles, she saw Alex kneeling down, placing the ring on Tuna's hand, saw Henry's radiant smile and the unmistakable happiness on her son's face. Her heart suddenly ached. A whisper echoed inside her. Did I do the right thing? All these years I've been so afraid of my son suffering, of him having to bear the responsibility for others. But seeing him now, so peaceful, so happy, maybe I'm the one who's caused him pain. She lowered her head, her hands trembling as they intertwined. The candlelight reflected off the shimmering tears at the corner of her eyes. A tear rolled down Min's wrinkled cheek, falling like a release from all the years of harshness and cruelty. The candlelight flickered on her face, showing both gentleness and exhaustion, as though the world inside her had just collapsed and been reborn. At that moment, a cold voice broke the silence, but there was a hint of jealousy and sorrow in it. "Alex." The sound froze the air. All three, Alex, Tuna, and Henry, turned in unison. Under the candlelight, Mai stepped forward. Mai, the childhood friend of Alex, the one who had shared so many childhood memories with him, stood there, her eyes filled with inner turmoil. Her face trembled, unsure whether it was from anger, heartbreak, or disappointment in herself. Mai's voice cracked, both trembling and sharp. "You really chose her, a woman who had a child with someone else. You'd rather carry this burden than..." The sentence stopped choked in her throat. Her eyes were red, but her smile was twisted with bitterness. Tuna held Henry tightly in her arms, her eyes a mix of surprise and worry. Henry, still oblivious, laughed joyfully, his innocent laughter like salt in Mai's wound. Alex took a step forward, standing in front of Tuna, his back straight, his voice firm and resonant in the garden. "Mai, I know you cared about me. I appreciate that. But my love is for Tuna. And Henry, he's my son, not anyone else's. No matter what you or anyone else thinks." Mai let out a bitter laugh, her laughter echoing like the sound of a broken glass. The sound of it seemed to tighten the whole atmosphere. "You never saw me, Alex. Never. Even when I was right beside you, even when I waited. But your eyes were always on her." Mai's eyes shimmered, but the gaze was full of bitterness, disappointment, and unreturned love. She took a step back, then another, as if there was no place for her in this world anymore. At that moment, Min, the mother who had carried so many heavy prejudices, stood up. She walked slowly toward the front, her shoulders shaking, but her eyes had changed. There was no more anger, no more opposition, just a softness, a waking up after years of self-deception. "Alex!" She choked her voice, hoarse from holding back tears. "I was wrong. I let my prejudices, my invisible fears cloud my love. I was just afraid you'd suffer, afraid you'd carry a burden. But now seeing you, this happy, I can't deny it anymore. My son has grown up. He's chosen his own path. And all I can do now is wish for your happiness." With that, Min burst into tears. The tears of a mother fell onto the rose petals at her feet like a late repentance. Alex turned to look at his mother, emotion filling his eyes. He squeezed Tuna's hand and then gently bowed his head to her, his voice warm yet resolute. "Thank you, Mom. This is my family. I hope you'll love them like you've always loved me." At that moment, Tuna could no longer hold back and cried in Alex's arms. Henry laughed loudly, his innocent laughter blending with the flickering candlelight like an invisible blessing from the heavens. Mai still stood there, her face, trembling eyes burning like a fierce flame in the night. Tears streamed down her face, but the bitter smile remained. She turned, taking slow steps as she walked away. In the final moment, Mai glanced back her gaze, carrying an ominous, unspoken pain. It wasn't just jealousy, but the sorrow of a heart that hadn't been loved. And that looked like a forewarning that the storms ahead were far from over. Min slowly sat back down, for the first time in years, smiling a peaceful, relieved smile. Inside her, a deep understanding welled up. Maybe being a mother isn't about keeping your child to yourself. It's about letting them find their true happiness. Alex held Tuna close, kissing her on the forehead. He looked at Henry, at his mother, and then up at the sky, which was ablaze with the colors of the setting sun. In that moment, he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they had each other. And that was the strength to overcome everything. The small wedding night ended in the gentle glow of candles, Henry's laughter, and Alex's warm embrace. But when everyone had drifted into sleep, a shadow quietly slipped out of the farm. It was Mai. She stood outside the gate, gazing at the dim light inside the house. Inside, my love had turned into a burning jealousy. Her eyes glowed with a pain and darkness. "Alex, you should have been mine. I've waited for you all these years, and I won't let LYTUNA take it all away." A few days later, Mai went to see Min. She pretended to sigh, her voice trembling slightly. "Aunt, I know you've accepted LYTUNA, but I'm just worried about Alex. No one really knows whose child Henry is. If the truth ever comes out, do you think Alex will be able to handle it?" Min was momentarily stunned, her eyes flickering. Although the ceremony had moved her, deep down, her doubts had never fully disappeared. Mai saw that, and with a subtle smile planted the seed of doubt before quietly leaving. That evening, Alex unexpectedly received a message from "My Alex, I have something important about LYTUNA. If you really want to protect your family, meet me." Worry made it impossible for Alex to ignore the message. He went to the cafe where they had arranged to meet, finding Mai waiting with a serious expression. "Alex," Mai began, her voice soft but full of intent. "I'm sorry to have to say this. I know someone who once knew LYTUNA, and that person says Henry isn't the child of the man she claims. Are you sure she's told you the whole truth?" Alex froze, his hand gripping the coffee cup so tightly it shook. His voice turned cold. "Mai, what do you want?" Mai stared directly at him, her gaze challenging. "I just want you to know the truth, so you're not blinded. If you want, I can give you proof. But ask yourself, is a woman who hides such a secret really worth you giving up everything for?" Alex left his heart heavy. When he returned to the farm, he found LYTUNA sitting on the grass, Henry in her arms, both of them laughing happily under the sunset. The simple scene warmed his heart, but Mai's words kept echoing in his mind. He walked over and hugged LYTUNA from behind, whispering, "LYTUNA, if there's something you've never told me, you'll tell me, right?" LYTUNA paused for a moment, her eyes brimming with tears. Why are you asking that?" Alex looked at her, his gaze not accusing, just waiting. LYTUNA bit her lip, holding Henry tighter as if afraid of losing everything. Meanwhile, Mai didn't stop. She sought out a stranger, someone who had once been part of LYTUNA's past. They sat across from each other in a dimly lit bar, the light casting shadows on his gaunt face. "I heard Henry might be your son," Mai said, her voice as cold as ice. The man let out a rough laugh. "And if I confirm that, what will you do?" Mai leaned in, her eyes gleaming with cunning. "I'll give Alex the proof, and then LYTUNA will lose everything. You just need to cooperate with me." The man stared at her for a long time, then smirked. "All right. But everything comes with a price." From afar, a dark cloud was gathering over Alex's small family. Min began to waver in her faith. Alex teetered between love and doubt, while LYTUNA held Henry tightly, afraid that someone might take him away. And in the shadows, Mai continued to sink deeper into her scheme, turning her love into the most dangerous weapon. Will Alex hold on to his faith to protect LYTUNA and Henry, or will the darkness from the past and Mai's plot destroy everything?
Trong tập này, chúng ta sẽ được chân Adam, chàng trai mang trong mình một trái tim ấm áp và đầy nghị lực. Sau những ngày tháng khó khăn, Adam đã từng giúp đỡ Huyen vượt qua cơn bão của đời. Giờ đây, khi đặt chân lên thành phố hôm qua, anh khát khao một lần nữa được gặp lại họ, những con người đã cùng anh chia sẻ biết bao kỷ niệm. Hành trình này không chỉ là cuộc hội ngộ mà còn là một câu chuyện về niềm tin, sự cố gắng và mơ ước xây dựng được một mái ấm bình yên cho cả ba. Và liệu Adam có tìm thấy họ rất là người và câu chuyện xúc động nào sẽ mở ra phía trước. Trong căn nhà nhỏ từng là nơi cất giữ bao nhiêu cười